Welcome to the Travel Network. On today's show, we'll be introducing to you one of the world's most fascinating cities, the vibrant valleys and fertile foothills of central Romania, and the city of Calatori. Only a century ago, transportation was this city's downfall. Streets were crammed with gas-guzzling cars, and public transportation was unreliable. However, this gridlocked city undertook a historic transformation. After a dedicated effort, city engineers created a transportation system that made commuting easier and attracted tourists from around the world. I'd like to welcome to the show Mayor Amy, who will lead us on a tour of Calatori's most unique attributes.
Hello, and welcome to Calatori. We are thrilled to share our fine city with you. As you may know, we are located west of the Carpathian Mountains in Romania. Our population is 472,748, and the majority of citizens are between the ages of 20 and 55. Thanks to our numerous rivers and lakes, we're able to harness hydroelectric energy as well as farm algae, which we convert into our biodiesel fuel. The city also relies on wind, solar, and hydrogen power. Calatori is a popular tourist attraction, and many attractions are Caladon, Calatori's largest stadium, and the Roman Museum.
Calatori once had a poor reputation because of traffic concerns, pollution, and unemployment. What have you done to turn things around?
Let's first discuss our innovative transportation system. I'd like to introduce Calatori's Chief Transportation Engineer, Malcolm Ramirez.
It's a pleasure to be here today. So, Calatori needed a transportation solution. Through planning and design, we developed sites, or the Calatori Intermodal Transit Ecosystem. We started off the engineering design process by first defining our problem, which was improving the sustainability and efficiency of our transit system. After weighing trade-offs, we came up with sites. We had several goals for our system. 1, encourage walking and biking in the city. 2, have public transportation no farther away than a 5-minute walk. 3, make our transportation cleaner for the environment. 4, make it an accessible, smart system. And 5, make it affordable.
Those are some lofty goals, but let's start with number 1 and tell us how sites accomplishes this.
To popularize walking and biking in the city, we needed to make our roads safer. Calatori's highways and expressways consist of elevated, hexagonal roads made out of polycarbonate and polypropylene. These roads can be stacked like a beehive, which allows multiple routes to the same place, and also have a retractable, transparent roof. Calatori streets have 3 parallel lanes, one designated for cars, one for bikes, and the other for pedestrians, and all are raised to prevent accidents.
In Calatori, we highly promote biking as both a form of exercise and a mode of travel. We provide every citizen with a bike, either the recycle, a bike made of plain cardboard, or the feather bike composed of recycled aluminum, making both sustainable and lightweight.
Interesting. And what about public transportation?
Calatori's public transit system offers many modes of travel for its citizens. The most popular ones are maglev trains, gyropods, and green buses. Maglevs levitate from a metal coil lining the bottom of the track using guide magnets on the underbelly of the train and are propelled forward with renewable energy. Gyropods are similar to maglevs in terms of mechanics, but rotate with the movement of the tracks, which goes both above and below ground. Green buses are very sustainable and are powered by a 300 kilowatt electric motor that runs on rechargeable batteries.
How have you made personal travel cleaner?
Well, we've invented more eco-friendly cars, called green cars. We use several different fuel sources for these cars as to not use up one specific resource. These sources are algae biofuel, solar power, a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen, and even cow manure, which is heated to 100 degrees in a digestive vessel and converted into carbon dioxide and methane.
Now tell me what makes sites a smart transportation system.
In Calatori, we use the LifeSite, which is a durable polycarbonate tablet to help citizens travel, become educated, communicate, and much more. All vehicles contain LifeSite dots, and this gadget also has a unique maps application which gathers data based upon traffic.
Utilizing analytics and cloud commuting, which is our wireless transit network, CalMaps notifies the commuter of the quickest route. Thus, trains and buses appear in greater numbers when needed, traffic signals are adjusted based upon traffic flow, and emergencies are reported immediately, and street signage and internal car control suggest alternate routes. For Calatori's handicapped, we have our DCP, or Disabled Citizens Program. Special green cars have been manufactured for this program with functions such as a collapsible ramp and an autopilot service utilizing voice command technology.
All this technology sounds like it would be quite expensive. How does Calatori manage the budget for sites?
Although sites is very sustainable, its major trade-off is high cost. Luckily, the city is known for high-tech innovations in big data analysis and and carbon aerogel products. The tax base from business and residents is growing and helps offset the cost of sites. The city also gains revenue from exportation of city-owned algae biofuel and tourism.
Now tell me, what engineering disciplines are vital for Calatori's infrastructure?
Transportation, software, and mechanical engineers are all very crucial to our city's infrastructure. These professions help Calatori move forward in futuristic thinking and aid in building the hex roads, life slates, and Calatori's green cars. Environmental, civil, electrical, and traffic engineers are all very beneficial to our city as well. These professions help to build the SEC, or STEM Exploration Center, which is a center located downtown that helps our Calatori's youth learn more about STEM professions.
Interesting. Now tell me what housing in Calatori is like.
The majority of citizens reside in terrace dwells, which are ergonomic, eco-friendly triangular homes. This model depicts the levels of a standard terrace. These houses have solar panel sides, a gutter rim which leads to an indoor filtration system, and smart feed surveillance which helps minimize crime, fire, and other in-home crises.
How do you keep your city clean, and what kinds of waste systems do you employ?
In Calatori, we recycle many different types of materials. With recycling outposts placed throughout neighborhoods, metals, paper products, and plastics are transferred underground to a recycling plant. We also have very composting facilities which produce healthy, rich soil for use in our vertical farms. The gutters of our ground-level streets are lined with algae genetically modified to soak up runoff and rainwater, and the majority of Calatori's terrain is made of porous materials.
Excellent. Well, that's all the time we have for today. It was great getting to know the internal workings of this cutting-edge metropolis. I must say, Calatori is unlike any city that I have ever seen.
Very good. What were the steps you took in designing your transportation system?
When we were first designing our transportation system, we wanted to address certain factors like the environment, traffic congestion, and safety. So we decided to come up with our transportation system called sites, which uses several different vehicles and street designs to make our system more advanced. We built certain vehicles such as the gyropod, the green car, which runs on different types of renewable energy. And we've also revolutionized how highways and road systems are built.
Also, when building our transportation system, we had to keep in mind the sustainability and efficiency of vehicles. You see, if we only had one vehicle that only ran on one fuel source, we would quickly run out of the fuel source unless it was a completely renewable fuel source. So we had to keep in mind all the costs and trade-offs and whatnot as well.
Also, using the engineering design process, we had to brainstorm a lot of different solutions in order to address this problem and satisfy the things that we've come across. So what we need to do was come up with several different solutions that would address our problems and then decide what would best suit our city and different trade-offs that the city requires, such as cost and the environment that it's in, etc.
What is one concept you learned about city planning that you would like to see implemented in the city in which you live?
Well, I think that the zoning of our city is very complex, and it's very efficient to our city's needs. And you see the river right here is the basis of our city, and we have the residential near the river because we don't want to pollute the river with industrial or commercial zoning might litter the river. So this is basically the way that we design our city, and I think that would be a very good key aspect that we would like to see in our own city.
I would also like to see our transportation systems, like our highways and expressways, the hex roads, as previously mentioned in the presentation, because sometimes when commuting from one place to another, my family usually encounters heavy traffic, so if we had hex roads implemented within Milwaukee, we would be able to access many different places at once, without having to deal with traffic congestion.
I think that when planning a city such as the one where I live, Milwaukee, I think it's important to consider alternative energy types such as wind power, hydrogen, and algae biofuel. Instead of burning resources such as coal that produce harmful waste into the air and is a non-sustainable resource. I think it's more wise to use products such as algae biofuel, which can be used to run cars in a sustainable and effective way. We should use hydrogen power because it's an effective way to power a city, and the byproduct is not harmful because it is water. But we should also use wind power because it is also a sustainable solution to a power crisis, which we might be headed for in the future.
How does your city's transportation system help support a healthy lifestyle for its residents?
One of these aspects that keeps our citizens healthy is safety in our roads. So in our hex roads, there are tubular supports that double as escape routes in case of an emergency, and there's private lanes dedicated to emergency vehicles in case of a car crash.
We also have special vehicles manufactured for disabled citizens, which helps improve the health of these people because usually they wouldn't be able to pilot a car by themselves, but with the DCP and the green cars manufactured, they would be able to do it with ease and be able to get on the road without having accidents.
Also, we had to promote biking in our city, so this keeps the citizens very healthy, and it really encourages going outdoors and getting fresh air every day, so that's a key part of our city.
What engineering disciplines were involved in developing the transportation system?
Well, our transportation system requires many different types of engineering, but I think the most important are probably transportation engineers because we need a way to get the citizens around our city in a way that is efficient and suits the needs that we have in our city.
Also, civil engineers are quite vital to our infrastructure because they need to help out the architectures in making buildings and highways structurally sound so that there are little to no accidents or problems with our transportation system.
I think architectural engineering is a very needed benefit when building a city, mostly because of issues such as making sure a bridge is stable or making sure that the roads don't run into the wrong places. Because you need to make sure that the structure of your system is stable and that it's planned correctly and that it won't make people at risk of being dangerous.
In planning for your city's utilities, water, garbage collection, and whatnot, what considerations were given to their efficiency and maintenance?
For one of our most useful utilities, which is drinking water, we have a water purification plant that takes water in for our main water source, the river, and it purifies it into a sustainable source that can be sent throughout the river, or throughout the city. And what makes it even more sustainable is that after all the water is circulated through the city, it returns back to any non-used water returns back to the water purification plant, where it is repurified and sent over. So we essentially have a water recycling system.
Our hydrogen power plant is also
They got cut off, yeah.
Because of the completeness of their responses.
Exactly.
They took the time to make sure people understood.
Every bit.